9 million marriage proposals were made this Valentine's Day as more and more young Americans search for their true love and their lifelong partners. But according to one survey since 2012, divorce rates have increased to 40% in America. And since 2006, the percentage of unmarried white women who have given birth has nearly tripled, from 13% to 37%. Now, experts believe more married Christian couples are also facing separation or divorce. Financial disagreements and infidelity are the main causes. Will the numbers continue to go up? How can Christians find true love today without going down the wrong path? Well, joining us now is Hasani Pettiford. He's author of the book, The Audacity of Marriage. He's also part of a Christian organization called Couples Academy. Hasani, thanks for joining us from Atlanta. What do you mean by the audacity of marriage?
Well, thank you first for having me. Now, by the audacity of marriage, to be audacious means to be daring. And it really requires you to be bold and daring in today's times in order to have a healthy, long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship.
And how are various media and social media platforms today distorting the meaning of marriage?
Tremendously so, because we live in a very liberal culture where we don't have the same level of respect and honor for the institution of marriage as we did many years ago. And so when you see all types of scenes in television shows, movies, commercials where people can live together without getting married, sex is very casual, it really diminishes the power and the impact of what marriage should have in society today.
Has that been a sudden thing, Hasani, or has it been gradual in our society?
I think it's been gradual. I mean, it's existed for many, many years. I just think that social media and media exposes what has already been there. And what it's doing is it's beginning to shape the minds of many people all over the world because they have more access and exposure to these types of beliefs and behaviors.
More availability out there with social media, I'm sure. And
Exactly.
what about Christians? Should they use dating apps to find romantic relationships? Why or why not?
Absolutely. I have no problem with a Christian using a dating app because the reality is a tool can be both good and bad depending upon the motive and the intent of it. I found my wife outside of a church building. I know many Christians who found their spouses in places that weren't in a service. You know, Christians live everywhere. We go everywhere. We do many things. So to be able to use technology in a positive way, I think could be helpful. I don't think we necessarily need to throw out the baby with the bathwater.
And maybe searching for the best apps for that. There are some that are better than others and more
Exactly.
Christian oriented, I'm sure. Why is infidelity becoming more prevalent among Christian couples in churches today?
I think that the marriages in the church are beginning to reflect and become a mirror image of marriages in the world. I mean, we have the same challenges, the same problems. I think that even though marriage is a principle that is taught in the church, how to have an effective, successful marriage is not. And I think that the church has done a great job championing the idea of people getting married, and hasn't done the best job of helping people to remain in a healthy marriage. So we're suffering from the same challenges that people in the world are.
Well, what do we need to do then in the church?
Number one, I think we need to teach what the Bible has to say about marriage. I heard someone once said that, you know, many Christians are biblically illiterate when it comes to the topic of marriage. They have no concept of what God's idea and purpose for marriage is. And we learn from society, we learn from friends, we learn from bad examples that we've grown up with in our homes. And so that becomes the template from which we operate from. So we need to relearn and have a better understanding of what God intended for marriage in the first place.
And finally, what kind of encouraging advice do you have for the single men and women out there, especially Christians who are eager to find true love?
That love is alive and well, and that there are many people who have phenomenal relationships. And if you desire to one day be married, I would highly recommend find a marriage mentor, find a couple who's doing it right, and glean and learn from them. Because guess what? When you go to people who have your answer and your solution, it puts you in a much better position to have a healthy relationship for yourself.
Well, Hasani, I've been married for 39 years. I think I've learned a little bit about it. I could give some good advice on it. And your book, The Audacity of Marriage, sounds interesting. We look forward to that. So thank you for your insights today.
Thank you for having me.